the exams thing going on?
Oh, exams are fine.
Because with students, we as educators and parents also have to prepare for the exams, you know.
Yeah, it's a new learning for everyone. Everybody has
Exactly.
used technology very well. The
Absolutely.
parent community, the teaching community, as well as the student community.
Yes. Everything on
Yes,
digitally online. So, you know, we are all preparing for this kind of examination.
yes.
Great. So, I think
Rabbi,
let's
somebody else.
joining.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
They've got the links. They've got all links now. Did they get the meeting ID and
Uh,
password?
I hope so. I just spoke to Miss Aparna Maggie and explained the procedure,
Okay.
and I think
Ruby, ma'am.
Ruby ma'am has not messaged. Let me just remind her. In fact, in case she's not forgotten, I'm just messaging her. So give me a moment. I'll just try to call her
Yeah,
while.
yeah, yeah. So, ma'am, you were also in school?
Yeah, I am also in school. We are having Katha Yatra in our
Okay.
school.
Okay.
It's an annual festival where we promote reading and stories
Oh,
and
wow.
storytelling.
Oh,
We
wow.
invite our authors to write stories. So this time it is virtual for the first time.
Very nice.
So had it been the normal situation, there would have been a lot of noises, children excitement.
That is what we are all missing.
Yeah. Actually, we the most thing that we are missing all the school heads, and I think the teachers are the personal connection with the children.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's
They bring in a lot of positivity in our lives also.
absolutely, absolutely. Those 7-8 hours, we actually forget everything when we're with them.
Yes, actually, yes.
The
How?
moment we are
Yeah,
Yes,
carry on,
Arvind.
Arvind.
Yes, Arvind, ma'am, you're saying
I think
something.
the moment we pick up a mobile or maybe on a laptop, and when you hear the children, so much of energy. The moment you enter a classroom, the virtual classroom, they greet you,
Very
they
true.
talk to you, and that's amazing actually. So that energy also gets
Absolutely.
passed on to the people who are living next to you, like my husband, my in-laws. They also can hear
Very
the
true.
children. Oh, wow, they are greeting you. They have this. So it brings in a lot of positivity, of course, as you very rightly said, Poonam.
Yeah.
It does, it
The whole
does.
house is brightened.
So, and even the parents watching, they also
Yes,
get involved nowadays. Yeah,
absolutely.
the virtual thing. So it's
Yes.
one
Without
way it's a
their
good.
support, home tuition
Absolutely.
is impossible.
Would have been very difficult.
Yeah.
Yes, I think thanks to the online classes that the education is continuing, and children are learning and they are engaged, I will say, at home. Otherwise, keeping them indoors would have been a tough task actually.
And the
Yes.
And now
teachers,
most of the schools are doing all the activities which they did. Yeah.
and the teachers are really working very hard. The
Exactly.
teachers are putting in lots of efforts.
Yes, that's true. That's true. They have really transformed education.
Totally. I mean,
And-
right from 8 hours to 16 hours of work is what they're doing.
And
That
the
is
options
there.
also. Normally, we do not allow the parents and the visitors coming and peeping into the
Right.
classroom.
Right.
And now you can see the grandparents, whenever we are having a yoga class or a painting class, we can see a granny sitting next door,
Very
next
true.
to the child. And she's also trying to actually paint or do yoga and things
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
We have a larger audience now.
Very true.
It
Very
has
true.
widened the
Yes.
scope.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now many a times the parents have been saying this, that now we know how wonderfully teachers
Yes.
teach my children, so I don't have to work so much. So now they can actually appreciating what the teachers do, the magic they
Absolutely.
create in the class.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is true.
Absolutely. Yes, Rabia.
I spoke to Aparna Maggie once again. They've got the ID. They'll be logging in another 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
And with Ruby ma'am, can you just take if she's joining? She's not taking the call. Her number is coming busy.
No, I have actually disabled the waiting room, so anybody can just come into the
Oh, okay.
meeting.
All right. Okay. Because I have WhatsApped
I don't need
her. I
your-
have text messaged her. I'm trying to call her up also.
Okay. Probably she must be caught up in something else.
Yeah, could be. Might have got stuck with something.
I think everybody has got busy with the schools now.
Exams.
That is true. And now with the reopening thing, so
Yes.
all those things needs to be planned also.
Very true. Very true.
So it's like
When do you all plan to, ma'am? After Diwali?
after
Whom
doing
is
all this.
question addressed to? Well, ours is a new school.
Okay.
It's only till grade 8 now. We just 1.5 years old.
Okay.
So probably we don't have the pressure of 9 to 12 as of now. So
Right,
we
right.
can take maybe a month longer. So we
Okay,
don't have
okay.
that pressure.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's good.
Yeah, that is true. And like today, my staff is here. Middle wing, they are preparing the results. So we have a PTM of
Oh.
half yearlies.
After this? After this?
No, on Saturday. On
Okay.
Saturday. So nowadays the PTMs are also virtual. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
so parents are finding it like better than the basically now it's only 15 minutes. Otherwise they need to travel to school and then take off from office or so they are enjoying that part.
Enjoying. And I'm sure both the parents must be joining the PTM now, if
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
that's the best. That is the benefit of this digital PTMs actually,
Yes.
ma'am. That both
Yeah.
the parents are able to join and able to give time.
Yes, that is true.
They are
And
also
like we were discussing, we can continue this even after the schools reopen.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think we might have to
Yes.
continue with this pattern only.
Yeah,
Looking
yeah.
at the kind of situation, though I think HRD minister has released a press release that the situation will come under a bit of control after Feb 21. So till Feb 21, I think we'll have to continue with this kind of planning.
Like hybrid kind of a thing.
Absolutely hybrid, yes. I think hybrid is
we can have the best of the two worlds. We can have the
Yeah.
best of the two
Very
worlds.
true.
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely, ma'am. Agreed. And in fact, ma'am, this whole thing, the digitally equipped, getting equipped with the digital thing, I think we as parents or as educators, we are learning more from the students in spite of, teaching them basically. In fact, I just learned from my daughter.
That is true.
Yes. In fact, I just learned from my daughter how to make a Google Drive, kind of the drive folder in the email itself, kind of. Because I knew it that it is something more than if a 20 MB file, then only we can send it through Drive. But there's a different procedure how to make a Drive folder now. So they are so technically equipped now, and that they can start taking the technical classes also for us maybe. In fact,
I've seen that little one, even the little ones from nursery KG, they raise their digital hand in the
Yes,
class.
yes.
absolutely,
So
absolutely
cute.
It looks very cute.
So when they can do it, and many a time children are helping the teachers. Whenever
Yes.
they are stuck somewhere in the PowerPoint or any kind of link, so they will say, okay,
Yes.
ma'am, we will tell you.
Of course, of
Very
course.
true. Very correct,
That is
ma'am.
it.
Absolutely.
Things like converting the answer scripts into the PDF files. Even grade 1 and 2
Yeah.
kids are able to do that.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
very
Yes.
surprising.
Yes. Yeah, that is true.
Shall I again try
So,
calling Ruby, ma'am?
You can. Otherwise, I think let's start.
I'll just try once
yeah.
and then we can start. In fact, is
Yeah.
Aparna ma'am here? I can't see.
No, even she is not yet
Yes.
come.
So let me just call both of you. Just 2 minutes and then maybe we can start then.
Yeah, sure.
I think you must be having the Dussehra break.
No, right now we got a break. So, so right now, yes,
So for
exams
most
are
of
going.
the school
Exams,
principals, yeah,
exams are going on. Exams are going on.
school principals,
So
yeah.
yeah, so everybody's busy with that.
And like for us, today is the last working day, and then we have 4 days off, right?
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Okay, that's
Generally,
great.
it's
That's
the
great.
last working day. Yeah.
No, Dussehra is on
And
Sunday, I think this time. So
Sunday, yeah.
we
It's
lose
on
out on
Sunday.
that.
Yeah.
So people do get that Ashtami and Navami.
Yes.
So earlier
Okay,
people.
okay. We all celebrate all the days. Ashtami also.
Even if we don't celebrate, but it's given like majority of the people
Okay.
do celebrate, so that's how
Okay.
everybody gets it. Like
So you all also
Now
had
with
the
kids
yes,
at
Delhi
home,
NCR most
right,
yeah.
right.
So because children are at home now, the parents also want to give them all those cultural values,
Very true. Very true.
all those things. So, and we also encourage that.
Absolutely. It's actually nice because I think they're also getting some time to indulge into all these things, and because otherwise, when we are in school, there's
Yeah.
a lot of chock-a-block where we need to actually, finish portions, complete portions, meet deadlines. So there are times when these things are missed out, I think. We do have the celebration.
That
Yeah,
is
we
true.
do have this.
And like it is because of this only we are able to meet and communicate like this. Otherwise, we are coming to school and going. The whole days goes like this.
Yes.
So everybody is experimenting and exploring.
Very true.
They are learning.
And they're learning, yes.
So, so sorry to keep you all waiting. Actually, sir, Ruby ma'am would not be able to join. Just got a message from her, I don't know, some son or daughter, that due to some personal emergency, she had to go to hospital. So she would not be able to join in. And Aparna ma'am will be joining in another 1 or 2 minutes. So in that case, we can start off actually.
Yeah, you could just start with the introduction so that by the time Aparna ma'am comes in.
Yes, absolutely. So once again, I would like to welcome you all on our next webinar series with the topic of pedagogical resistance to prescribed curriculum. So good morning all, and thank you so much for accepting the invite, Poonam ma'am, Harleen ma'am, and all my audience. So we'll start the details. We'll start with the introduction side. First, I would like to introduce Poonam ma'am. She is the thought leader of INACE. She's a principal with Scholars Global School, a self-motivated, intelligent, honest, and a diligent person who takes her profession seriously. She's passionate about education and all the processes involved in its transaction, being able to motivate her team and pupils to achieve all the objectives of education. So I would like to welcome once again Poonam ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here with us. Ma'am, you're on mute. I don't know. Great. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to introduce Harleen ma'am. So Harleen ma'am she's a member once again with INACE, a principal to Sri Chaitanya Techno School, Gurgaon. She hails from an army background, which has given her an immense exposure of teaching in various schools pan-India for more than 2 decades. Amity International, Gurgaon, Heritage Vasant Kunj are the 2 schools where she pursued teaching, learning, and has great management skills, adaptability, and a way to deal with huge teams. She has been a head of school for about 7 years at Presidium Dwarka and Vega School, Gurgaon, has widely traveled and has great international exposure of visiting eminent schools in Australia, UK, and Denmark, and interacting with their faculty. She always tries to incorporate some of the best practices from these schools for the benefit of the students and staff. Being very liberal, she gives immense freedom to her team members and students to execute their creative ideas. This not only makes them accountable, but their bond with the organization too is strengthened. She believes appreciation is an important tool which motivates the team and students to go beyond their limits to achieve their greater heights. Keeping the team happy and motivated besides mentoring the team and planning their growth path, is of uttermost importance to her. Making herself available to all the stakeholders at all times makes her an inclusive leader. Wow, ma'am. Wonderful. And thank you once again for being on this platform
Thank
with
you
us.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So much. Thank you.
So maybe we can start off with the question and answers round. And once Aparna ma'am will join, we'll share her, introduce her, and then we'll shoot out the questions to her even. So we won't delay much. I would like to request Poonam ma'am to come in front, and the first question goes to her. As we understand, prescribed literacy curriculum often does not address difficulties situated within teachers' instructional context of the classroom. Perceived instructional contexts are closely encountered and acknowledged by teachers as they demonstrate their own pedagogical practices when addressing academic content. Ma'am, can you just elaborate this particular definition of pedagogical literacy curriculum? If you could
You want me to talk? I could not get the question a little clearly.
Just explain this term. Just explain this to us, brief about us too, so that everybody can understand how is pedagogical resistance important to prescribed curriculum.
Okay. So we all know that curriculum, we all are aware that it tells us about the content or the topics or the group or classes. But when we talk about pedagogy, pedagogy is a science which deals with the transferring of the knowledge, not only in terms of knowledge, but then expanding the education. It is an art of upbringing the children. So when we say curriculum, curriculum is a guideline which directs the teachers to how to experiment and how to deliver whatever they can in the best possible manner. I think it's like a serving the dish in the best possible manner, even though the content is very well there. So curriculum, I will say, guides and I will say helps the teacher that in which age group, from where to start and where to end, and also to identifying the learning areas or learning habits or the way the children learn about their intelligences, and planning the pedagogy in a way that the class becomes more engaging, the class becomes more IT integrated, and the class also becomes engaging with the 21st century skills being incorporated in that. So pedagogy and curriculum are, I'll say, the two sides of a coin which are very important for adding value to the classroom or adding value to the teacher. So we cannot say that curriculum restricts the pedagogy or pedagogy restricts the curriculum. They said, I think they work hand in hand to take the learning to the next level of the children, because when we talk about education, children spend around 15 years of their life in the school. So it is very important that knowledge nowadays in the 21st century is just a click of the button. But the entire experience of acquiring that knowledge where we plan to instill the 21st century skill is equally important. And that is what pedagogy helps the teacher to plan out the activities through which the children will learn, will participate, they become active learners, and they in fact take the learning forward beyond the boundaries of the school to the social network or to the society. So in a way, like a lot of, I'll say the government is also doing, the CBSE is doing, a lot of change is happening. It's not about the content anymore. It's about the pedagogy. That's why inquiry-based learning, problem-based learning, interdisciplinary curriculums are coming in practice, so that the children burden of the knowledge is lessened, but the joyful experience and the desire to learn more by themselves. So that learning should go in the hands of the students. They should become self-learners. So pedagogy in a way helps the teacher to bridge the curriculum difficulties by planning out the activities through which the children are going to do that. So I think all will agree to me that in this 21st century, curriculum is also undergoing transformation. Now the competency-based learning is happening. So curriculum itself talks about not only the content or the concept, but the competencies. Competencies include the holistic personality of the child. So it's not about only the cognitive domain, but also about the life skills, about the IT skills, about the internationalization, about the didactics and the values which a child should have in the 21st century skills. 21st century. So when with the education undergoing transformation, I feel it is very, very important that pedagogy and curriculum go side by side, and they should not, I will say, stop or barricade the learning of the children. So that is all. I think I have made my point clear.
Absolutely.
You have any other question, Ravi?
I'll come back to you, but before that, truly amazing explanation, ma'am. I think everybody, it was so easy to understand that pedagogy and curriculum goes side by side, and without one thing, curriculum, we cannot take curriculum forward, or without pedagogy, we cannot take the other thing forward actually. So they have to be it has to be a mutual combination of both actually. It's a combo thing which we get kind of, we get the dishes in combo. So pedagogy and curriculum is a combo actually for the educators, for the future of the nation. Very well explained, ma'am. Very well explained. Completely happy. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So, okay. So now I would like to introduce Aparna, ma'am. I just saw that she's already here. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. So I'll just first
good afternoon, Rabia. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be sitting with such honorable people and being a part of this. First, let me apologize. I'm really sorry for being late. There was some problem with the Zoom and it was not getting connected. And I'm really sorry. But
we all understand we have been facing these technical glitches every now and then, because everybody is on digital learning and online classes. So that's perfectly fine. We are excusing you, ma'am, for that.
Thank you.
Fine.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So let me just introduce ma'am.
Yes,
she's a principal, she's an academician, she's a teacher's trainer, she's a pro bono consultant and CSR projects and for the BPL activity. Miss Aparna Maggie, Principal Ramagya Group of Schools, a highly accomplished and a dedicated educationist with an experience spanning over 26 years. She's a proud recipient of the Distinguished Teacher Award, Samman 2018, conferred by Rotary Club of Capital City, New Delhi, for her exemplary commitment and contribution to teaching profession and her research topics of several national academic interests. She has also been honored with the Certificate of Excellence Leaders Award 2018 by Education Today and Certificate of Appreciation 2018 by Academic Heights Public School for making a difference in the field of education and society by her leadership, hard work and contribution. She has worked with various capacities as director, principal, academic advisor, administrator, master trainer in convents and reputed schools across India. Initiating the project Udaan with CBSE also adds a feather to her cap, wherein she worked for the special evaluation and guidance of underprivileged children by IIT professors to help them get admission in the prestigious institutes. She's an advisory board member with ICSL, International Council for School Leadership, and ICJNJ, Indian Council for Journalism and Juvenile Researcher. She's a director with Bal Saathi, a student health program. She's a brand ambassador for Topia, which is Active Sports Championship. So we'd like to welcome you again once, ma'am. Thank you for so much.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Rabia.
So, ma'am, I'll come back to you with the questions. Yes. First, I want Haleen ma'am to come in front. And the question for Haleen ma'am is here. Ma'am, people often talk about their pedagogical approach to teaching, but what does it actually mean? Kindly elaborate, kindly explain.
Okay. I think we've spoken much about the approach of it, but we haven't really understood the true meaning. Well, I feel pedagogical approach. I mean, the word pedagogy actually it's the approach to teaching. It's the approach towards teaching. It's the theory and practice of learning. And that's how this process it influences and is influenced by the social, political, and psychological development of the learners, of our students. Now, I would say it's the study of how knowledge and skills are transferred, both together, as very rightly I think Ms. Poonam had said. It's a combination of knowledge and skills which are getting transferred during the interactions between the teachers and the students. So it's much more than the methodology. I would say the previously commonly used term was methodology. What is your methodology of teaching? Now we are more speaking about the pedagogy, which is more of an interaction, and it is skill based and of course knowledge based, combination of the two. And there are different approaches to it. There are a couple of them. I would say that the constructive way, the constructivism way, and I would say the reflective. Of course, it involves a lot of thinking, the collaboration, which we talk about, the 21st century skills. There are certain projects, certain group work, teamwork. So that also is collaborative approach is also one of the ways of pedagogy. I would say that integrated approach. Yes, we are not studying all the subjects in silos, I would say in isolations. So we do try and have integration of all the subjects while we are doing projects. And it is also inquiry based, of course, questioning. To raise the curiosity of the child, we definitely want to put forward certain questions, which is going to be actually trigger their thinking process, so that the discussions which follow are going to be very meaningful, and the education that comes out of it, the crux, is absolutely essential for, and it's the key element for learning.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again. It was a wonderful explanation. I think a more elaborated one. Having said that, Poonam ma'am already spoke a lot about pedagogy and curriculum, how they are connected and how...
I would just like to say, I have a slight, I totally agree with what Ms. Poonam said. But to me, personally, I feel curriculum takes a lot of time to evolve. Of course, it is, the new education policy and everybody, we are trying to change it and now making it skill-based. So pedagogy it gives us more freedom. It is the approach towards teaching, and curriculum kind of limits us. Still, I would not say it is endless. It is still bound by the time frame, like, okay, when to start, when to end. It has a few definitions, whereas the pedagogical approach, why people and teachers and facilitators, they resist so much, because they are bound by the curriculum ties, which are the time frame things. And if a teacher or a facilitator is discussing something, she goes beyond the time frame. And she often forgets that, okay, that 45-minute session or that 90-minute session, she has to be completing, because she tries to incorporate everything into the classroom, and there goes the time frame, and she's unable to cope up with the, completion and things like that. Yeah, thank you.
Great, ma'am. Thank you so much once again. So I have a lot of questions coming up in my mind, but I will shoot out the next question to you in the next session, next time. So before I shoot out a question to Aparna ma'am, I would like to request Prasad sir to introduce him. Though we all know Peaceful International deals with the Vedic math and abacus, but I think Prasad sir would be the right person to share a brief about his work as well as his organization. So Prasad sir, over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you, Rabia, so much. I will just play a short video that will speak about everything. Yeah, just a moment. I'll just share the screen. Square is an ISO certified organization and member of PAN Global Mental Arithmetic Association with a rich experience of 16 years, which has its presence in Mumbai, Pune, Nashik, Bangalore, and is managing 75 plus centers, 100 plus trainers, and 8,500 plus students. Working with prestigious schools like Jamnabai, Nursi, ISKCON, Janki Devi, Datta Meghe World Academy, Pawar Public School, Sayadri International School, Saraswati Vidyalaya, JSPM Pune, and many more. We work on the hand-mind coordination visual skills, auditory skills, critical thinking, problem solving, analytical thinking, quantitative reasoning, time management, and improving the mental math skills of children from age group of 5 to 14 years with the help of abacus and tricks to mathematics through Vedic techniques. Competition video that we are showing, the way students compete. This is all that we are missing. We have been encouraging and motivating children to face the competitive world by organizing large-scale competitions at the zonal, state, national, and international level for mental maths. Competition. This is our team. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rabia.
Thank you, sir. Very impressive presentation.
Thank you, Rabia.
Would you want to say something? Yes, ma'am. Any questions for us, sir?
Rabia, you're not audible, or I do not know whether it's my net problem.
Yeah, you're not audible. Can't hear you.
I think it's better now.
Yeah, right.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, now you're much better.
Great. So thank you once again, Prasad, sir. And now I would request Aparna ma'am to come in front, and I have a question for you, ma'am.
My pleasure.
I mean, we have discussed a lot about pedagogy and how it works with the curriculum thing. The question, another question comes to my mind is, does pedagogy of 20th century differs from the pedagogy of the 21st century? Is there a difference between a pedagogy of 20?
Pedagogy word by itself, if I remember, really talk about the word pedagogy. If we look at the dictionary meaning of pedagogy, I think it will come that it is something, the method of practice of teaching, right? As far as I remember, long back when this pedagogy word came into being and it became a part of our discussions And we are discussing so much since this pandemic and learning so much. It's been a very good experience, I'm telling you. I think destruction only teaches us a lot of things and bring changes, right? There is something in everything that
I
happens.
completely agree to you, ma'am, on this. Yes,
And I
destruction
think,
actually helps teaches
yes,
us a lot.
yes. And that's why people say that wars are sometimes good also. There's nothing good about losing human life. But a new thing comes, what happens with us. And the way we are able to interact with each other, we have known. I think I've been in touch with so much regarding education. First, I think we were all like ostrich, right? We were in our own area, and we did not know what was happening in the world. And now we are discussing such important things like what is the difference between a 20th century pedagogy and 21st century pedagogy. So if you ask me as an educationist, I feel pedagogy is a very individualistic thing, right? I believe that everybody who talks about pedagogy, everybody who talks about what's happening, the changes, it's something which depends a lot on a teacher's own dedication and sincerity towards her profession, right? And with time we are realizing with time we are realizing the things about differential learning and differential teaching also, which we were not aware of before. We were doing it, but we were not talking about it. Teachers were doing it, but it was not being discussed on open platforms, and we were not very aware of how to go about it in a trained manner. As we are learning from 20th century to 21st century, I feel this is a very big difference. When I was a teacher, right? So when I started my career way back in 1992 as a teacher, right? So I was doing the same things which teachers are doing right now, but I did not know that this is what I was doing, that what I'm doing is a differential teaching, or it's a differential learning for children. In a classroom, you have all different type of children, but you actually never realized that this is what you're doing. And okay, there can be some special training for it, that their teachers can be trained in a way. Children are also changing with time, right? Children were much more simpler, let me tell you. This is one thing I've noticed. They were not this open. Right now, children are very open. They are able to share their feelings. At first, they were like afraid to ask questions and just very quietly listen to what teachers say and write in their notebooks and learn things by rotate, things like that. But today's generation children, I think I find them better than what I was as a student. I find my students to be 100% better than what I was. There were so many questions which used to come to my mind, but I would have never asked them, right? I will sit quietly, okay, I'll go home and I'll try and read from this book and I will see if I can understand. But I was reluctant in discussing my problems with my teachers. And with time, I find my children, as I was teaching, so way back in 1992, then you come to 2002, then you come to 2012, then you come to now, okay, 2020. With every year, I think with every generation, children are evolving and their learning process is changing. They are coming with different questions, and you learn a lot through the questions that children ask you. I think we all are lifelong learners, right? And this is the time that we are learning. And I think I've learned maximum in last 6-7 months, which I didn't learn in my life till this last 6-7 months, how much we all have learned during this months. And so many trainings we were able to give our teachers. And this time we have spent very well in learning the difference between what is 20th century pedagogy. What was it? It was same if I tell you, when you talk about pedagogy, it's all about method of teaching and practices that we do. And we know the 5 effective approaches. We all learned it when we joined, we came into education field, that when we talk about pedagogy, the 5 different approaches that we have, the effective approaches about pedagogy, where it's constructive, information skills development, and learning about collaborative, and it is integrative, right? All these things we have been doing for a long time. But now we got time to talk about it, right? And we got time to do better in this particular fields. This is one big change I have found. And now teachers are experimenting. This is one thing that I have to tell about teachers. They're experimenting. They are deciding that going by the same curriculum thing, the same curriculum which has been told, and it is said that, okay, you have to teach it in so many periods, right? We have this particular thing designed, isn't it? That, okay, this topic will take 3 periods, this topic will take 4 periods to complete. It all comes in a framework. But now teachers know that what better way they can teach the same topic to the child, moving away from what is written, what better they can add. and how they can teach better through activities possible. Activity learning has become a very important part of our
बस
life.
तो खाना ही खाऊंगी। अब अभी मैं थोड़ा दाल चावल निकाल दूंगी।
Please one second.
और
Can I request all of you to please be on
चाय
mute?
पी ली? खाया नहीं? अच्छा।
Should
Audible? Mute ma'am. You can mute me also.
Am I audible? Okay. Should I speak, Rabia?
I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. So I think that this is the biggest change I find in when we talk about pedagogy in 21st century. The word pedagogy remains the same, but how we go about has totally changed. Now we know that when we talk about pedagogy, about teaching children, we know that there are special children also. They were there, special needs children were there at that time also, but we were not handling them well. We did not know how to teach them, in a better way that they come at par with the other children in a classroom. So now we talk about inclusive education. Now we have those children sitting in the classrooms with the other children, having a normal life, right? And reading with them, learning with them. And now we have counselors who are guiding them and improving their learning skills and helping them come at par with their peers and see life and see school life, enjoy school life as any other normal kid does. So this is one thing which is very close to my heart, and that's why Bal Sati is something, as Rabia was talking about, it is something which all the principals and the people associated with school, I will request you that give us a chance that we can come and explain Bal Sati to you so that we can do the changes which we were able to do at Ramakya. We would like to share with you that what we have done and help the other children also who are there, and guide the teachers, give them a teacher training and something like that through the counselors and clinical psychologists who work with our school, right? We can definitely go with it. So a lot of change I've found that we have that we talk about mental health, right? We talk about sound mental health. First, it was a taboo to even take the name of this. If you tell a parent that your child needs a counselor or a psychologist, it is like the parent will say कि आपने तो मेरे बच्चे को पागल बना दिया है, मेरा बच्चा बिल्कुल normal है. It is still there. It is still there, but there is a 90% difference in difference in the approach of a parent regarding the same topic, which was not there before. And this is a very, very important, very important step in teaching children and the pedagogy that we have in the 21st century. So for me, what matters and what changes in 21st century is first that we have been able to move ahead with our children and know what's the right way to teach them. Teachers have become very open as children are. Teachers are now open to training. They are not keeping themselves assigned to what they were doing before. They are like, okay, I'm teaching, it's fine. मुझे और कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं करना है. I'm okay with what I know. Going to a classroom, delivering a lecture, correcting notebooks. Teaching is much more than that. Now the teachers are realizing it more than what they were knowing about before, and they are coming out and helping their children very well. They're training themselves. They are learning and they are open to suggestions. They're open and coming, ma'am, I'm not understanding this. How can we teach? They come and ask me, ma'am, this child is not understanding this topic. There is something. So how well can we help the child, right? How can I help the child? Please tell me, what should I be doing? So then we have a discussion with our counselors and the clinical psychologists. Everybody sits and find out the ways. They talk to the child. So I'm so impressed by teachers that I can't tell you. I'm a big fan of teachers, if you ask me, that when they change themselves and then they are ready to adapt what is coming in front of them, there's nothing better which can be there in pedagogy that we do. And that is what we have got in 21st century. Let's see how far we go. And there are many more new things we'll learn.
Absolutely, man. There's a lot to learn. Still, we have got a huge way to cross, basically. And I completely agree with you. Earlier, it was like a rote learning kind of beat for the educator, beat for the students. But now it is more towards the activity-based, life skills-based, real life example-based. So till the time now, as you said, the psychology is coming to the picture. Psychometric tests have So which is actually, understanding the psychology of the students, psychology of the staff, and then help them to understand and teach them in a better way. I think that's the best, explanation I could give. Thank you so much for that explanation.
Thank you.
So now I come back to you with the questions. And now I request Poonam ma'am to come in front, and I have a question for you, Poonam ma'am.
Rabia,
So,
you seem to be. Rabia, you don't seem to be audible.
I think its voice is cracking, Rabia. It's cracking.
Yes, his voice is cracking, actually, in fact. I don't know why.
I can't hear you, Rabia. What question you are asking?
Hello?
Yeah, I can't hear you, Rabia.
Can you hear me, ma'am, or not yet?
Now better. Now clear.
Yeah, I think the voice is cracking. I don't know, maybe a kind of, network issues.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Poonam ma'am?
The question.
Yeah. Please say your question.
Yeah, the question is upbringing in the both pedagogical sense a purposeful influence of the society to prepare the younger generation of life? So what do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'll tell you. We all know humans are social animals, and the schools cannot be just bounded in a bubble, or the student also cannot be kept in a bubble of the school. So there is continuous interaction happening between the teacher and the student, between the student and the student, between the school and the parent, between the student and the parent, and all the places where the social gathering happens. So we cannot keep the education in isolation. So, and as I mentioned in my earlier question also, that a child spends 15 years, all the formative years of the personality are being nurtured in the school only. So you cannot isolate the learning from the social upbringing. So children bring a lot of values or the habits which they nurture at home to the school, and while interacting with the other peers, they are transferring that. And there are so many socially or cultural things which the teacher brings in. And then as a school also is an ecosystem. It is not just a place where children are being taught and the teacher is coming to teach. There are a lot of things which are unseen. That is the culture or the values or the things which are happening in the school, which are not, sometimes not even with the purpose of teaching, but many a times the children, they observe and they learn. And then of course the school, when I say the ecosystem, the whatever the culture of the school is, it is indirectly transferred to the children. And when the children, that is how they say that they become those things becomes the habit. And that is why we always ask, if a child does very well in their life, which school did you go to? So it is, and a child or a person is becoming successful not only by the academic progress, but the right habits, the right culture, which is, or the right values which are nurtured in the child. So similarly, in these COVID times also, a lot of information the government is trying to disseminate through the schools, because children are the change makers. And nowadays, not only in their family, but when the family interacts with the neighbors or the other relatives or the extended family, they carry on the message from that. So we cannot say that the children are a part of the society, and when they will be going and becoming. So a lot of social taboos or social things we have overcome through training the children. What about the gender bias and the early, all those things which were happening in the society, the literacy of the girl child, the equality. So a lot of things have been, I will say, pushed into the society by means of these transformation or those life skills which are happening. So now the emergency procedures, which all the schools are training, and those emergencies procedures are being transferred. Now the children know how to, I'll say, take that learning and practice in their life. So the society is ever changing. Like we all know that nowadays, because of the children, the entire family is being computer savvy. The technology has paved into the way that the children are bringing their grandmothers on the Facebook to know what the world is doing. So society and children and learning and society, so it's a two-way thing which is happening, and that is what is making all the difference. And I see that as again, humans are social animals, so we are one of the biggest medium to bring a change in the society, and we have seen that happening. The way the values of the families are changing because of the education, because the girls are being educated in our country. So that is why when the, you will say, the say or the woman empowerment is happening in the society. So all these things, whatever we do by purpose or by as a part of the delivering the curriculum, are definitely being passed on and helping us to transform the society. And whatever the society is, whatever is happening is also transforming the education. So whatever are the needs of the society for more employability. So there is a very famous TED talk of Ken Robinson, where he says earlier the teaching used to be just as if we are trying to create profit. Whatever is being taught and reproduce it in the classes or in the examination were supposed to be successful, but it is not so. And this is what because that is why the integration of the skills, the vocational education, because that is the need of the hour, that is the need of the society. So all those things are giving the value to the school or giving the direction in which the pedagogy or the curriculum should be framed, so that it satisfies the needs of the society. So everybody cannot be just teachers by just undergoing transformation. They are also undergoing a lot of changes. They are adding on to the skills to be competent with the teachers who are coming, which were required in the previous years were the 3 skills: reading, writing, and arithmetic we used to talk. But now it is multi-skills. So all those things, when they are integrated in the learning in the schools, multi-skills means the media literacy, the financial literacy, the digital literacy, the health literacy. So all those things are being now implemented in the curriculum and is being integrated in the pedagogy to bring about or sensitize the society for that. So I think I've made my point clear that the society and schools cannot be kept in isolation or cannot be, or the students cannot be in the bubble. There is so I think Radhya.
Absolutely, ma'am. Very wonderful and very insightful explanation. Thank you once again. And with this, ma'am, as we have spoken about, a lot of activity-based learning has come into picture. So now I have a question for Harleen, ma'am, once again. Ma'am, as we all know that we continue to teach their style as a teacher, we start emerging. But does these activity-based pedagogy, does it actually restrict the curriculum, or does the pedagogy, does the curriculum restrict these kind of activities? Because we all know that curriculum is a kind of, it's a defined curriculum, we all know. But with NEP coming into picture, as well as a lot of activities have incorporated, still does this curriculum actually restrict these activities somewhere or the other? Are we still restricted?
Yes, thank you so much. Though I couldn't hear you completely, but I got, I heard part of it. Let me just try and
Can I repeat my
see
question,
what
ma'am?
best I have understood.
You want me to repeat the question? I am saying that with...
Are you bound by the limitations of curriculum? Are you trying to say that?
Yes, exactly. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely right. Yes.
I would say that curriculum, yes, of course, it is much more stringent than the pedagogy, no doubt in that. But the curriculum has also evolved. The pedagogy has also evolved with time. It has expanded. Both of them have expanded in meaning, I would say that, and scope. So like previously, if you say that, it used to be very, very time-based. Now, most of the schools who are progressive in nature, the progressive schools are not following the typical time-based learning, I would say that. They have moved down to outcome-based, meeting of the learning outcomes, the outcome-based learning. So schools are more flexible now. The curriculums are also trying to be, but I would say it's not as per 100% all schools. Only the progressive schools have adopted these. And I would say that they are not textbook driven like previously. It is more of a research based now. You know, even the teachers are researching, even the students are researching. The projects are given in such a manner that, we don't have to just do rote learning. We have to go beyond the textbooks. Now, initially, it was a very passive learning kind of an environment, and now it's a very active learning. Both the students and the learner, they both are actively learning. And previously, I remember when we were young students, or I started my teaching career in, I would say, 1987. That was the time I was a teacher. So the knowledge was not shared. If I knew something, I would just stick to my own thing and hide it. I would never not believe in sharing the knowledge. Whereas now the times have changed. You've seen co-working spaces all over. So we do encourage working collaboratively in teams to the students, maybe, working in teams, in pairs or teams of 4 or 5, submitting projects so that we are preparing them for the future. You can't work in silos and isolation and just one child doing the own thing. So there is no restriction. Rather, we are enhancing and wanting them to work in groups, co-sharing, and the projects, they are graded accordingly. And it's also, I would say that initially it used to be more teacher-centric. Now it's child-centric. Teacher only plays a very passive role. And I would say it's on the, initially we used to talk much about the classroom disciplines, the pin drop silence and the teacher lecturing. And now the more chaotic and the noisier the class, we would say that, okay, the children are more actively engaged and learning is happening. So the meaning of discipline has changed now. So it is, we understand the boundaries of mutual respect. The teacher understands the child, respects his or her freedom. Similarly, the children also understand their limits and they value the teacher's this thing. So there is a culture of mutual respect now, rather than vis-a-vis a quiet classroom is the best classroom whenever the principal used to go around things have changed now. And initially, we did not cater to diversity, I would say that, when probably I'm talking about 25 years back or maybe 2 decades back. So diversity was a challenge for the teachers and there was a big taboo. She could not really cater to diversity. And these days we value diversity. A school in Gurugram, a classroom in Gurugram, wherein we have people from all segments. We do have South Indians, we do have Bengalis, we do have foreigners, we do have this thing. It adds to the richness and it adds to the dimensions of the class. So whatever topic, even if it's a geographical topic or a history, so there are, we have so many discussions and we bring in the states, go beyond the states, their boundaries are not limited. So it adds much more richer meaning to the education at all, I would say that. And long time back, teacher used to be the evaluator and she used to have the immense control or the command. She used to be the judge. The marks and everything used to be in her control. Now, slowly the assessment system and policies are also changing. We do have self-assessments. We do have, the peer assessments coming up. We do have other evaluators, maybe, okay, debates and other things, discussions are going on. We do have some other teacher, co-teacher also evaluating. So teacher is not the almighty who's got the entire set of marks in her hands. But there are a group of people who are actually evaluating the child. Sometimes it could be a survey formed by the parent or the neighbor. So in many ways, it has really expanded education and we have really embraced this. Most of the progressive schools have embraced this change and some of us are still struggling to figure out as to how best we can do that. So, I would say as educators, the exposure that we've got, the skills that we are equipped with, probably it's our duty to pass on these to the students, to the teachers, so that only then we make it really happening, the things that we are talking about, the 21st century skills, only then the students would be able to, cater for the future, which nobody knows, the kind of jobs that we have, the kind of insecurities that which they are going to be facing. So what are we preparing them for? So I think all of us can do that together by being flexible. Yeah.
Very, very, very impressive explanation. And the way you said that, yes, we have to, do it together. We have to move forward together because we all learn from each other. Be it from the student, be it from the other educators, we all learn from each other, and that is the best way to step ahead and making a better world and a better society. Wonderful explanation, ma'am. Thank you once again. So, in a brief, I can say that pedagogy has become more expanded when it comes to the scope of learning, meaning, and understanding. So there are no restrictions when it comes to the curriculum-based pedagogy. So wonderful explanation, ma'am, once again. And now I request Aparna ma'am, a question for you, ma'am. Aparna ma'am, are you there?
Yes, Rabia, I'm there. There's some connection problem, so that's what I was trying to sort out. What is happening?
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think there are a lot of technical issues today. Absolutely, I agree to you.
The light is a problem today in this area. So it's coming and going again.
Light
problem in the sector.
Failure.
So that is the big problem. So it's
Delhi, Noida.
All of a sudden it just shuts down everything. So then
right.
So I'm sorry. It's just today some.
No, that's perfectly fine, ma'am. That's perfectly fine.
Tell me.
So, ma'am, the next question goes to you, and the question is enabling pupils to put what has been learned to work in new situations an important part of any pedagogy? For
Definitely.
Pupils especially.
Definitely, and 100%. It's very, very important that if we teach something to them, right? And we teach something to our students and we have taught them something, then we have to see that where are they being able to implement it somewhere in their life? Are they turning it into a positive way and reacting to it? And yes, seeing the use of what we have taught them, right? It can be anything. When you teach them, it's not only about the bookish knowledge that we talk about, because that is also very important, come what may, right? We can talk about many new things and we can say many new ways of teaching and all this, but still books play a very important role in teaching, right? And we have to stick to them. It's not that we can totally change them, right? That is very much needed. So that also, right? That is also there. And even if same book that we were not, we were only teaching them in a classroom through Blackboard teaching or something, the same book we teach them now in a very different way. Through different modules. These days, smart boards and everything is such a part of your life. Projectors and all are such a part of education, part of your academic life. And children are so, thank God that we were doing those things. So that's why when this thing happened, we went online and we were able to support our children and continue with the schooling, because teachers were also trained to a particular level. They were able to handle things well. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult. So when we teach them something, the modes of teaching have increased. We added on our skills and we kept on going to new things. So when we do these new things and when we are going on these new things, the implementation of the things we have taught them, we were able to see them. It's not that we have taught them something and that thing is then gone. Okay, we'll just ask them question, answer, take a test and it's over. No, it doesn't happen like this nowadays. Nowadays, if there's something that we have taught them, right? So we ask them to work on it and come back to us about what is the effect of this particular thing and how are they implementing it in their life. And they bring you examples, right? They do activities and they show you. Like right now, recently we had one activity when we taught children about germination, right? So when this topic of germination was taught, and now children are at home and the teachers are they're also at home, right? And some in school, some at home, things like that. So when they taught, so they're given things. In 2-3 days ago, a message goes that, okay, we'll be doing this topic. So this systems have been built up now, right? And new things that we are also learning. And then the children were sitting with everything. They got time to, and mainly using things which are already there at home. So then children have themselves planted a seed. Then they watered it, right? And after 3-4 days, when a small plant came out of it, right? So they're showing to the teachers, right? Everybody's holding a pot in their hands and standing in front of the camera and showing that what it is. And I think that's a real beauty of teaching, right? And it was such a thing, like we have put it on Facebook also, and very small children, like children in grade KG have also done it, and children in grade 3rd and 4th have also done it, right? So they have learned about the same thing, but at different level. What knowledge we have given them through that, right? It is germination only, but for a child in KG, germination is something in one sentence we have told them that it is that. When you talk to a 3rd, 4th grade child, germination we add more things to it. At their level, what their understanding should be, we add more knowledge about it. When you go and talk about the same topic to 7th and 8th child, then you add much more other details also. You teach about how the food is being prepared. Then you talk about chemicals that are taking part in the process, right? How it is happening. And now you have videos showing them the thing, right? There are videos when they do this particular thing. There are videos which are showing them, okay, now you go inside and see everything which is there and how the food is chlorophyll, what is it, and how it is helping in making food. So this is what you can share with them online also. And after that, when they do something, right, and they learn it and they come back to you, yes, the things are very clear to the concept is very clear to them. So this is how you get to see that, yes, what you're teaching is being implemented. It is implemented in academics also. And now schools are not only about academics. There's a big difference in our pedagogy considering this. Now the schools are all about overall development of a child. When we talk about holistic development and things like that, what does it mean? You're teaching them manners also. You're teaching them how to behave well in society tomorrow, like when they are out, and still when they are now, how to behave at home with your parents. How do you talk to your elders, right? What are the good values? What are the good eating habits? This is all a part of a school curriculum now. Everything is being taught, and you can see the implementation of it. And you ask them, you give them a work. Okay, today you have to sit with your grandmother, ask her that what she needs, and you have to do something for her and get back to us, right? And now because it's online, the child comes back with the grandmother, right? And she also is there, a part of the online class, and she says, "Ki ma'am, you have taught them." The other day I was watching a video. One teacher has forwarded it to me, and she said that grandmother जो है वो आई और उन्होंने बहुत अच्छे से बोला कि मैडम मैं आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ कि आज जो है इसने मुझे ऐसे ये बताया और मुझे बैठ करके मेरी हेल्प करी मेरे काम करने में। मैं ये नहीं कर पा रही थी, इसने कभी ध्यान नहीं दिया, लेकिन अब ये बच्चा मेरे ऊपर ध्यान मुझे ऐसा कर रहा है, तो आपने हमारे बच्चों को ये सिखा दिया। I mean, it is such a video. I can't tell you this. So this is a real implementation that we are looking forward to. It's not only about academics only. We are here to train good citizens for the future world, right? And we have to train them all together, right? We have to make sure that their thinking process is okay. They know how to respect a woman. And they know that how to talk to their elders, and that all the onus of teaching everything lies on a school these days. Parents, what they have to do is their job, but we should not be stepping back. The schools are not for this. No, we are 100% for this. A child is spending a good lot of time of their childhood with us in the school. So all this is our responsibility equally along with the parents and elders at home. This is our responsibility too. And when you see the child doing things and the parents coming and saying that, yes, the child is doing this thing so well, they find the improvement in the grades of the children. They find the child behaving well and knowing how to control the temper, how to talk properly to the elders without getting irritated at small things, then we have really achieved something. Then we know that, yes, this is what we aim to do and we are reaching somewhere.
I so very much agree to you, ma'am. Absolutely. And very beautifully explained, actually. I think this lockdown has taught so much to us, be elders or this younger ones, actually. I think, I was listening to Dr. Shalini Advani. Dr. Shalini Advani happens to be director for Pathway School, Noida. And
Okay.
she has put on a video very beautifully. She said, now this NAP and whatever curriculum, whatever pedagogy we are doing for the learnings and the development for the kids, it is not only through the books actually, but till the time we do not get emotionally attached and understand the emotions of a student, we will not be able to help them to develop holistically. So I think not many things have come into picture when it comes to the curriculum or a pedagogy. I think the government has taken a very good step when it comes to the new activities coming into picture in NAP. These things, I am sure, will help us to make a better society, a better world, and the growth of this child in such a way that they happens to be, as you said, that happens to be a good citizen, good human being actually, which is
That's our
very
purpose.
important for them.
That should be a school's
That
purpose.
is the purpose actually.
Yes. That should be what we should be doing with
Actually.
that.
Yes, ma'am. Very well said, ma'am. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Rabia.
And thank you. A beautiful explanation from all of you. So with this, we'll be coming up to the end. But before that, I have a question for all of you, for Aparna ma'am, Poonam ma'am, and Haleen ma'am. A one-word answer. I need one answer from each one of you.
Okay.
What does digital learning means to all? One word, ma'am. Aparna ma'am, what does digital learning, getting digitally equipped as educators or students, what does it mean to you in one word?
One word. It's
Yes,
nothing is
ma'am.
coming to my mind right now, and you got me first, and others are getting more time to think about it, right? I think when you talk about digital, yes, come on.
Please, ma'am, please.
I'll say
Sorry, could not hear
digital
you.
learning is the new normal for us. The new normal.
I'll say I will say I'll say like transformation of classrooms, though it is a 3-word, but then transformed. I'll say transformed.
I can only say be yourself. Be yourself. That's all. We are getting to know ours. Be yourself. You are getting to know yourself better than what you knew yourself before, right? So that's.
New normal. Yes, all answers are wonderful. Now another question for all of you, which is like completely attached to the digital learning. How close is digital learning to you, to your heart actually? In one word, how close it is? Do you feel that the physical classroom was better or a digital classroom is better? In one word.
Physical classroom.
Okay, all right. And
Better.
Poonam ma'am, better? Okay, Poonam ma'am.
Yeah, physical was that the human part was there, but then I think teachers have gone transformed themselves, and the I'll say engagement has improved. Though the emotional part is missing, but the student engagement is more, because a lot of visuals are coming in, lot of planning, and all those things are creating a wonderful way. So,
Haleen ma'am, what do you have to say, please?
I would say I can steal both the things and say probably I'm the last one. So a blend of both. A blend
Excellent.
of both, absolutely.
Excellent
A
answer.
perfect mix of.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent answer.
Superb, ma'am. This is actually, I was looking out for this answer basically, because we are actually planning, all schools are planning to continue with this kind of way forward, a hybrid way of learning. So thank you
Yes,
once
definitely.
again to all of you. Yes, ma'am. So I am sure you might have enjoyed this session. Though it was a very wonderful session for me, I thoroughly enjoyed it, talking to
Same
each one
here.
of you, and such wonderful answers, such insightful explanation to all the to everything basically. And I'm sure most of the parents and educators must have got benefited out of this session. So thank you once again for being here with this platform. And we will come back to you with the next webinar very soon. We'll share the details soon on the social media platforms, as we are already digitally equipped and we are doing online learning. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rabia. It was a pleasure to watch you. I've seen
Thank
your
you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Keep doing well. God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you so
you,
much.
ma'am. Thank
It is a pleasure to get connected to all of you. And thank you, Mr. Prasad.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's been a pleasure to know you. And we'll definitely talk about Vedic maths and abacus. Being a teacher, it is very close to my heart. So
thank you.
I'll definitely talk to you about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rabia.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.